Okay, so this is the leaks. Then you first go to the mass mode, right? And then, sorry. Okay. Yeah, and then you can create the matrix by first setting this delimiter as this. Let's say, let's use a bracket here. And then inside this bracket, let me see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, maybe I need a mouse, but yeah. So and then you can put some implicit table so that you can use it as a matrix. So let's make it as a 5 by 5, and then 1, 2, and so on. And then in order to put dot or circle, you can use C dot, and then it's going to give you just a single dot. Okay. Let me see if I can put it at, put some circle. It should be CRC, and it's just a circle. Okay. 네, 점점점.
그 엘러먼트에다가 뭔가 표시를 할 때.
아, 그거요. 그거 좀 어려운데?
그냥 프린트 해놓고 거기다 위에다.
Yeah. So yeah, you can make it as a bold font like this, or underline. Yeah, underline it.
텍스트 디스크 주면 되는데
네.
그거 말고 그냥 위에다가
동그라미요.
그런 건 안 돼.
네, 그게 그 스페셜 캐릭터로 써야 되거든요. 이 어떤 문자에다 동그라미를 입힐 수는 없어요. 네. Okay, or you can change the color of it by changing the font. Okay, so yeah, for your information, so in these days I use this editor. I mean, this is just one kind of a word processor, and I'm mainly using it for most of my research papers. So all the papers that I've written, I'm using this software. So it's a really useful one. Okay, then any other questions about the homework or? 네.
애슐러폰 만들 때요.
네.
한 로우가 000만 나오면 그거 생략해도 되나요?
그거를 생각해도 된다는 생략. 네, 그렇죠. 그거는 이제 어떤 이퀘이션, 그 어떤 정보도 주지 않는 0 있고 0이라는 이퀘이션이기 때문에 이거는. 네. So yeah, the question is, in case you come up with the old zero row, okay? So looking at one row is completely zero, and then it means just a kind of a meaningless equation, which is shown as 0 equals 0, right? So you can ignore it, right? So in that case, let's see. So in that case, I mean, that kind of situation comes out when you have something like this: 2x1, 3x2 equals 5, and then maybe minus 4x1 minus 6x2 equals minus 10, right? So once you create this guy into this augmented matrix, right? And then if you find this pivot first, right? The first pivot that you have, and then you make this guy into 0, right? And then it will suddenly give you 0 rows, right? So in this case, this equation is 0 times x1 and 0 times x2 equals 0, right? So that's just a meaningless equation. It's always true regardless of whatever value for x1 and x2 you have. And then when looking at the original form of the equation, so it's just giving the redundant information, right? So this equation is nothing but just 2 times the first equation, right? So that way, this equation didn't give you additional information for your solution. right? In that case, you will often get this 0 row. So you can, once you find this row, and then you can completely ignore it. But if you find this row in the middle of this matrix, in this augmented matrix, and then you have some non-zero rows below this guy, and then you guys have to first switch them, right? So that you put this all zeros to the bottom part, right? Any other question? Okay. So in the last lecture, this theorem 4. So basically in the last lecture we learned about the matrix equation, right? So starting from linear system, we learned how to represent or how to convert it to a vector equation, right? So in this case, it can be viewed as x1 times 2 minus 4, x2 times 3, 6 equals 5 minus 10, right? So in this case, the interpretation changes, right? So this vector equation asks you to find the linear combination coefficient x1 and x2, so that this linear combination between these two vectors to be the same as the right-hand side vector, right? So that was another interpretation. That way, we were able to think about the span and which is a set of all the possible linear combinations of these two vectors, right? So if this guy is belonging to that set, and then we can say that there exists some solution. But if this B vector is outside of the span of these two vectors, and then we can say that there exists no solution, right? And then we moved on to the matrix equation. So from this vector equation, how can we make it to a matrix equation? So of course, on the right hand side, we have 5 comma minus 1, and then the left hand side, the matrix is, you just put this coefficients into one matrix, right? And then here we just collect all these variables that we have to solve into one single column vector, right? So this was the form of a matrix equation, right? It's just nothing but just a compact representation of this vector equation, okay? But since we have a matrix here, we call that as a matrix equation. And then in the latter part of the last lecture, we learned about this theorem 4, right? So I saw that some students were able to easily understand this theorem, but some students may not still have any idea about what this means, right? So it's basically about whether your vector, the column vector in A, is completely covering up your space, right? So this theorem was about that situation. In that case, for any given B, B should be contained in the span, or in the set of all the possible linear combinations of our vectors, right? Because all the possible linear combinations of our vector is already covering up our entire space, right? So for any given B, we can definitely say that we can always find the linear combinations to represent this vector B, right? So that's what this statement A says. For any given B, this equation has always a solution. But here, please note that this guy is not meaning a single solution, right? So it's at least one solution, okay? So you can definitely have a multiple solutions. And then in the second one, for any given B, that is a linear combination of columns of A, right? And then, in other words, the span of your column vectors in A is covering up the entire space. So if I was not clear about what this means, Rm, so this is a set of all the possible vectors in R-dimensional space. So if if we write this as R3, and then it's all the vectors in this three-dimensional space. So you collect all these vectors in this three-dimensional space, and then that's what this set means. So R3 is basically a universe in three-dimensional space. All the possible vectors or points in this three-dimensional space. Okay, and then the last one was a very important part, right? All these three situations are the same. We already know that, but that is also the same as this statement. A has a pivot position in every row. Okay? Okay, since this is really important, let me just re-explain it briefly. So in the case of three-dimensional vector, in your matrix A, you should have 3 rows, right? Something like this. So in this case, in the three-dimensional space, you only need the 3 vectors to cover the entire space up, right? But one condition is that those three-dimensional space shouldn't be, any of them shouldn't be inside of the other 2, right? So last time I described it in this way. So start with the first vector, right? And then add 1 vector at a time. And then this vector, when thinking about the span, when having 1 vector, the span was just a line. And then if we add another vector, and then the span will be just this plane, right? So it added, it increased our span, right? And then if we add 1 more vector like this, and then compared to this span, if we think about all the possible linear combinations of these 3 vectors, and then we now finally cover the entire space in this three-dimensional space, right? So in that situation, so we use these 3 vectors, 1, 2, and 3, right? And then if we think about this echelon form, we can think about this kind of a staircase shape, right? In this case, the staircase shape has to be in this form. So, one kind of secret when relating this pivot thing or this staircase and this kind of a vector thing that I just described is this. So, adding 1 vector at a time can be thought of as we first think about this vector first, and then when adding another vector, now it's time for thinking about this vector and then the third one, right? So start with this first vector, and if this vector was unfortunately part of this line, okay, and then in the case of pivot, it will appear in this form. So we have a pivot here in the first column, but in the case of second column, which is our second vector that we added, that will not give additional pivot. So in that case, it should be something like this. So our staircase is a kind of a long horizontal line. Okay, so that's a really important secret. Okay, so pivot is actually telling us whether your vector that you just added is in the existing space explained by the previous vector. So in this case, the second vector was explained, or it was included in the space explained by the previous vectors. Okay. And then this is another case, something like this. So we have the first vector here, and then the second vector, and the third vector. But third vector, so up to second vector, it gave a pivot, or it means our 2 vectors so far is this kind of shape. So the second vector is not included in the first vector. Okay. So currently our span is this just a plane, and then when adding the third vector, when changing it to this staircase shape, but this third vector didn't give additional pivot. Okay, so in that case, it means the third vector is inside of this plane. Okay, so in that case, even if we have these three vectors in three-dimensional space, but still our span of these three vectors are not covering up the entire space. Right? So in this case, when this theorem is false, I mean, yeah, this theorem is true, but the logically all of the four are false. Right? So this theorem is saying that all the four statements are having the same destiny. If you find one of them is false, and then the rest of them should be definitely false. But if you find one of them is true, and then the other one is always true. Okay? Okay, so let's look at the statement D again. A should have a pivot position in every row. Okay, so in that case, for any given B, we always find the solution, right? But in this case, suppose we have these three vectors, right? But we have three rows in three-dimensional space. But this row didn't have a pivot here, right? So that way, it cannot cover up the entire three-dimensional space. And so, depending on the B vector, we may not find the solution, right? But what if we have another vector? So even though we think about the three-dimensional space, I'm going to give you four vectors. But up to three vectors, it only formed just a plane. But fortunately, or finally, when I gave another vector, yes, something like this. So two vectors, and then a third vector is inside of this plane, and then I'm going to give you another vector like this, okay? And then that's when we can finally cover up the entire space, right? So in that case, let's think about that situation using this pivot, okay? In that case, we will have another column vector as a fourth column, and then this guy will finally create the pivot, because this vector cannot be explained by these three vectors. Okay? So in this case, when thinking about the pivot, there is one and another one and the third one, and then here every row has a pivot, right? So that way, this statement D is true. A has a pivot position in every row. Okay. So any questions so far about this theorem? So 네.
그럼요. 피벗이 없는 벡터는 다른 벡터들의 리니어 콤비네이션 관계.
네. 그거는 조금 이따 설명할게요. 네. Any other questions? Yeah, I'll explain it in more detail in a bit. Any other question? Okay. Okay, so let's get back to the question that this student has asked. So, let's see. Okay. So, let's not consider the fourth one, and then let's consider this situation. Okay. So, something like this. Okay. So this is our A, and the echelon form of our matrix A. So in this case, this guy and this guy and this guy. And then if we think about the vector equation, and then, so what is actually the variable that we have to solve? So these vectors are given one, right? And then this one is associated with x1, x2, and x3, right? Because in this kind of a linear combination, right? So we think about these two column vectors and then the linear combination using the variables that we have to solve. So they are working as a linear combination coefficient to create a given vector B. Right? Oops. Okay. And then, do you guys remember we learned about the basic variable and the free variable, right? And those are related to this pivot position. So in this case, we have a pivot in here. So this is a pivot, this is pivot, but this is not a pivot, right? And so we have two pivots, and then that's corresponding to x1 and x2, but not x3, okay? So this is free variable, and these two are our basic variable, okay? And then, yeah, let's get back to this geometric world in the three-dimensional space, okay? So this situation is the same as the case where we have these two vectors. So we definitely know that up to the second vector, I mean the second vector is not part of the first vector, right? Because we find the pivot in the second column, right? But in the case of third vector, so it's an unfortunate situation. Something like this. So we originally have these two vectors, but the third vector that we added, so that is in this plane, right? And then the variable corresponding to this guy, this bad guy, is actually our free variable. Okay? And then that's actually the main thing that we will learn today in chapter 1.5. Okay? So let's keep this in mind. Okay. Yeah, and then let me add one more thing in here. Okay, so we will learn about it again, but let me just describe it just now. So in this case, so where the third vector is included in the first two vectors, and then it means that this third vector can be represented as a linear combination of the existing ones, right? So in this case, so we can think about a new linear system. So in this case, originally we had a 3 equation and 3 variable, and then we would have, let's just write the full matrix equation from this matrix. From this matrix. Okay. So suppose B was 1, 3, 2. Okay. So in this case, the problem is finding x1, 2, 3 to satisfy this equation. Okay. But even before thinking about this guy, B, right? So we gradually added one vector at a time, which is our column vector in matrix A, right? And then we know, I'm saying this again and again, but the third vector is inside of the plane of the two vectors, right? And that, it means that the third vector is represented using a linear combinations of these two vectors. Is it right? So in this case, we can think about its corresponding linear system. So we want to represent the third vector as a linear combination of the previous vector, previous two vectors. In that case, so we bring this column here, and then we bring this column in here, okay? And then, let's just think about the new vector. Let's say y1 and y2. But we have only two vectors, so our variable is just two-dimensional, of course. And then our B vector should be this guy. Okay? So we can construct this new linear system by using some part of the columns that we have from our matrix A. And then what can we say about it? We can say that from looking at the echelon form of this matrix, we can definitely say that this equation has always the solution. Right? Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting kind of thought experiment. Okay? Okay, so once you find these relations, or once you have this kind of understanding, and then it will be really easy to study maybe this week and maybe next week and even later lectures. Okay, so this concept is really important. Okay. Okay, and then the rest of this chapter 1.4 is kind of simple. So we know this guy is an identity matrix, right? So it's 1, 1, 1 and 0, 0 in the off-diagonal parts, right? And then we already know the characteristic or kind of the nature of this matrix. So we multiply this identity matrix with whatever vector or matrix, and then it will always give you the same vector or matrix. So that's just the nature of this identity matrix, right? And then this theorem 5 is really easy compared to the previous theorem. So it's about just the characteristic of the linear combination. So when multiplying this matrix A with this vector, u plus v, and then it can be distributed in this form, right? And then, this is a 2 multiplication. So the first multiplication with the matrix A, and then the second multiplication is with this scalar C. And then we have a vector u. And then we can switch the order of this multiplication. Okay, I'll just skip the proof of this theorem because it's really obvious, right? So you guys already know about this theorem. Okay. And that's it for chapter 1.4. Any questions? Okay, and then let's check the attendance. 다시 해줘요. 네. 자, 윤정훈, 파약, PYAK, 오케이. 정원영, 김영민, 시빅난, 알자라니, 한하영, 조성준, 장박호, 박명혁, 이상민, 영립, 공승현, 양신, 윤든솔, 설희수, 노석준, 이은비, 이동복, 정윤재, 네, 번호 뭐 잘못 입력했나요, 내가?
40번.
아, 40번.
30번 없는데.
아, 30번 없어요? 누구였죠, 이거? 40번. 예, 그러네요. 예, 고마워요. 예. 어우. 오케이. Okay. Then let's move to chapter 1.5. Okay, this chapter is about the homogeneous linear system. So now we learn about the new term called homogeneous. And then this homogeneous thing is really simple one. So let's see. So yeah, since we learned about the linear system, vector equation, and a matrix equation, the simplest form will be this matrix equation. Okay. Now its homogeneous version of the equation will be just changing this guy b into 0 vector. Okay. So ax equals 0. So that is called a homogeneous linear system or homogeneous equation. That's really simple, right? And then between this original matrix equation and also this homogeneous version of the equation, there is some interesting relationship between these two. And we will learn about what this relationship is in this lecture. Okay? Okay, so let's first think about this equation. So, in probably the first lecture, we learned about three different possible cases about the solution set. So the first case was there is no solution, and then the remaining two cases were where we have one solution or we have infinitely many solutions, right? And then in this case, let me ask one question. So in this case, among the three cases, there is one case that's never possible. What would that be? So again, the three case is no solution, right? And then unique solution. And then infinitely many solutions, right? So among the three, for this homogeneous linear system, there is one case that cannot happen at all. 네? No solution. 네. Yeah. So it's impossible that we have no solution in this case. So it means this equation will always have the solution. I mean, we are not sure whether we have a unique solution or infinitely many solution. But this cannot happen. Okay? And why? Can anyone tell me why? 0, 0. So, okay, so let's think about A in this form. So we have 4 columns in this way. Okay? So this is our A. And then how many variables should we have in this case? 4, right? Because this matrix equation is nothing but just a compact form of the linear combination between the columns of A. And then the linear combination coefficient will be our variable. So we definitely know that. We have 4 variables. And then the given B vector. Okay, so in this case, what will be the dimension of B? 4? 5? Yeah. It's not necessarily 4, right? So if we have like 3 columns, right? Suppose we have these 3 numbers, so like this, okay? So in this case, B should have that number, right? I mean the dimension of the B. Because we are just linearly combining between those 4 columns, right? So by just adding them up, we will maintain the same dimensional vector in B, right? So if we have 3 rows and then the B vector is also 3-dimensional vector, and then especially in the case of a homogeneous linear system, we are giving the vector B as all 0, right? So this is our equation that we have to solve for these guys. And then in this special form of B, we can definitely, we can at least have one solution, which is 0, 0, 0, 0 for this part. Okay? So in this case, this linear combination will give you always all 0 vector, right? So we have, we know at least we have one solution, right? And then, what will determine between these two cases? Free variable? Who said that? 누가 얘기했죠? Free variable? 네, 맞아요. Okay, so between these two cases, what determines between these two is actually whether you have free variable or not. Okay? Okay, then let's think about our three-dimensional space again, using my finger. Okay. So in this case, regardless of whatever matrix A you have, this part, okay, you will be guaranteed to have at least one solution. Okay. In that case, this vector B is always part of your span of your column vector. Right? So, let's start with the one vector, okay? And then this is origin. And then the span of this vector is just a line, right? In this line, this origin is already included, right? If we have 2, it's also included, right? So that way, the special vector of 0 vector is always included in the span of any vector, at least if you have at least one vector. Right? So that way we can always find the solution from this equation. Okay? And then let's think about whether we have unique solution or the infinitely many solution. So in that case, it's related to the whether you have a free variable or not. So suppose we have these two vectors in this form. Okay? So in this case, there is no free variable, right? So this one gave you, this one was the initial one, then the second one that you are given is not included in the first vector, so it should have its own pivot, right? So it's still a basic variable. And then let's think about how to represent origin here by using these two vectors. So the solution will be just multiply this guy with 0 and this guy with also 0, right? So that way we can represent this origin, right? So that's the unique, that's only one way to represent this origin. So that way we have a unique solution. But let's think about another case, like this, okay? So one vector, then the second vector, okay? So far it was good, but the third one was included in in this plane that was spanned by these two, okay? So in this case, let's think about how to represent the origin here. Okay, of course, 0 times this vector, 0 times this vector, and 0 times this vector will give you 0, right? So definitely 0, 0, 0 will be your solution. But in this case, by the fact that you have this redundant vector in your plane, you may have another representation to obtain this vector 0, right? There's something like this. So let me just draw my fingers in this whiteboard. Okay, so if we have these two vectors, when having these two fingers, okay, and then this is our origin, and then the only solution should be 0 and 0. But if we have another vector like this, okay, and then now suddenly we have infinitely many ways to represent this vector 0, because let's see. In this case, yeah, you guys should be able to easily imagine that. But yeah, let's make the third vector by using the previous two vectors, right? And then we can make the third vector by using or by linearly combining the first two vectors in this form. Okay? And then we can think about its negative vectors. And it will be like this, right? And then adding this guy, and then the third vector. And then we will also have zero vector, right? So due to this redundancy, to represent any vector in our span, because we only need two vectors to represent any point in this plane, but we now have three different vectors, right? So suddenly we have infinitely many ways to represent one single point, right? And that way we have infinitely many solutions to obtain this zero vector. Okay? Okay, and then yeah, suppose now we have even one more vector in this plane, okay? So we have now four vectors. So something like this situation, so we have two vectors like this, we have additional vector included in this plane, and then someone gave one more vector, but which is still in this plane, okay? So now we have four vectors that we can use to represent this plane, okay? So in this case, yeah, there are, of course, infinitely many ways to represent one point, right? But that situation is slightly different from this situation, right? So in this case, yeah, in terms of the redundancy, so how many redundancies that we have? So let's consider that. So in this case, we have one redundant or one additional vector, but now we have two additional vectors. So let's just draw this situation. Okay. Like we have these two vectors, and then the third vector is something like this, and then the fourth vector is something like this. But those two additional vectors are still in this plane. Okay. And then in order to represent this origin, we now have even more freedom, because we only needed two vector and one additional vector was kind of redundant, right? And then I gave you even more redundancies or even more freedom to you, right? So that way you have like more infinitely many solutions. Yeah, I know it doesn't make sense, but yeah, you may have even more different ways to represent this single point. Okay? So that way, you can think about how many freedoms to represent one single point in the span of your column vectors. Okay? Okay, so I gave you a little bit conceptual explanation, but let's look at the actual example. Okay, so let's study about some of these terms. So we learned about what this homogeneous linear system is. So it's just nothing but replacing this b part as 0. And then we certainly know that by plugging our solution in with this O0 vector for x1 through xn, or yeah, and then that solution is the obvious one, and then that solution is called this trivial solution. Okay, so that's another term that you should keep in mind. Okay, and then other than this zero solution, I mean the solution which is not this zero, satisfying this equation, that is called this non-trivial solution. Okay, so in that case, it's corresponding to this case. So if we have infinitely many solutions, we already know one of the solution is all zero. But if we know we have an infinitely many solution, and then those solutions will not be exactly zero. Something like this case. Okay. So by using a non-zero linear combination coefficient, we make the linear combination of these vectors to be 0, right? So those solutions which are not all 0, that is called non-trivial solution. Okay? Okay. Okay, so this is one example of homogeneous linear system where we have all 0 here. And then how to solve this guy is really the same as what we learned. We just make them into a staircase matrix, which is our echelon form, and then further reduce it to reduced echelon form. Okay? So this is our reduced echelon form matrix. Okay, so let's look at the staircase here. In this case, this, right? So recovering it to this linear system or linear equation form, we have this form, right? And then we think about what are the pivots are and what are the free variables. So these are the pivot variable, x1 and x2, but x3 is our free variable. And then how we represent the solution for this equation was that we move all the free variable into the right hand side part, right? Okay. Then yeah, x1 was this guy, and x2 was 0 from this example here, right? And then we have no information about x3, and x3 was our free variable, right? Okay, so in terms of a vector representation, by just collecting all the solution x1, 2, and 3, we can represent the solution in this form, right? Because x1 is represented in here, x2 we know is 0, and x3 we just write it as x3 because they are just a free variable, so we didn't do anything about this free variable, so we can just leave x3 as it is. Okay, so this is our solution vector. Okay, and then what we can do is this little trick. Okay, so yeah, you should be very good at this trick. Okay, so one trick is that we can factor out x3 in this form. So from these vector, we just write x3 in front of this vector, which contains all the constants. So this vector doesn't contain any variables at all this time. So x3 times 4 over 3, and 0 is still represented as x3 times 0, and x3 is just x3 times 1, right? So we can always represent or obtain this constant vector, which does not involve any of our variables. Okay, and then we can suddenly represent our solution x into this form. Okay, so one specific vector, one particular vector times x3, and this one was one of our free variable, so we can choose whatever values for this x3, right? But this solution can be also thought of as some kind of geometric kind of a shape. So in this case, yeah, let's consider what this solution will mean in our space, right? So definitely x3, the solution set x is in three-dimensional space, right? And then all the possible solution is represented in this form. And then if we think about their shape, then it's just a line actually, right? So we have 4 over 3 and 0 and 1. So we think about 1 point represented by that constant vector. And then we have this x3, which we can freely choose, right? And then by changing this x3 value, then it's going to be this line, right? Connecting 0 or origin with this 4 over 3 comma 0 and 1. Okay. So this vector actually gives you a particular point that you can connect between the origin and this point. Okay? And that line, and any point in that line is your solution. Okay? Okay, and then yeah, let's think about a little bit more sophisticated case. So in this case, how many free variables did we have? We only had one free variable, right? 2 basic variable and 1 free variable. And what if we have 2 free variables? So in that case, 2 free variable means something like this. So we only have a plane, but we have 2 additional vectors other than these 2 basic ones, right? So in that case, I mentioned that we have even more freedom to represent any single point in our plane, right? So in that case, it's related to this thing. So in here, that cube, the cube shape is not meaningful. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, so let's focus on this line. Okay, so that line is connecting 0 and our point, right? After we factored out the free variable, right? And then if we have one more free variable, and then our possible solution set. So all the points in this line is satisfying our homogeneous linear system, AX equals 0, right? Because that was the problem that we had to solve currently, right? And then if we have one additional free variable, and then this line suddenly becomes straight. Because we had even more freedom, right? Because we had now 2 free variable, but in this case we only had 1 variable, so that way we only obtain the line to satisfy our equation. But if we have 1 more free variable, and then it will give you another freedom, another degree of freedom, and that way you will have actually plane. Okay? Okay, so let's look at that example. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't give you, the slide doesn't contain the example, but we can easily make one. Okay. So 2 free variable and 2 basic variable, for example. Then let's first create a staircase shape. It's going to be a big matrix, okay, but it's 1 and 1. Yeah, let's imagine the reduced echelon form where we should have all 1s for our pivot, okay, and then in this case we have this 2 free variable here, right? So it's all 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, okay? So this is B part, right? So it's gonna be 0, 0, 0, 0, right? And then let's see. So let's put 2 here and minus 1 here. And what this value should be? 0, right? Because this guy is pivot, right? And then below the pivot and above the pivot, we should see all 0. So if you don't see 0, if you see non-zero values, and then you are not done yet. You didn't finish your reduced echelon form, right? Okay, but in this case, this guy is not a pivot, right? So you have any non-zero values above it, right? Because it's not a pivot. But this guy is also pivot, and so 0, 0. let's see, let's put it 1 and 2 minus 2, okay? And this is again our pivot, so it should be all 0, right? Okay, so I created one reduced echelon form where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 basic variable and 2 free variable, right? So again, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy is our basic variable, and the blue ones are the free variable because these are not containing the pivot, right? Okay, and then in this case, x1 minus x3 minus 2x what? 5 equals 0, right? And then x2 plus 2x3 plus 2x5 equals 0. And then what? The third equation is 4. x5 equals 0, right? And then x5 equals, 6 equals 0, right? Okay. Yeah, and then we just move all the free variables to the right hand side, right? That's a simple step that we have to do next, right? And then x1 equals x3 plus 2x5. x2 equals minus 2x3 plus 2x5. Okay? x4 is x5. Okay? x6 equals 0. Right? 뭐 틀렸어요? 어디요?
두 번째.
여기. 그러네요. 그래요. 이렇게. 그죠? Okay, and then let's represent our solution in a vector form. x1, okay, I'm going to just skip it all the way through x6, okay? And then, okay, so what was the free variable? x3 and x5, okay? So let's look at this guy, x3, and then, oops. So this one was x3, right? And then 2x3. And then what is it for x3? This is just x3. Sorry, this should be x3, right? So x3 is just x3, right? And then x4 is x5, which doesn't contain x3. So let's leave it as 0 because we will just put another vector here, okay? Then this one was x5. 1, 2, 3. No, this one was x4. Then x5 was 0. And then 0, right? Because we only brought this x3 part from our solution. Okay? And what about the x5 part? 2x5. Yeah, you guys are doing very good. And then, what is it for x3? 0, because it doesn't contain any x5. And then x4 is x5. And x6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is x5. Right? x5 is just x5. So x6 is 0. Right? So we have these two vectors. Now only containing x3 and x5, which is our free variable. And then now it's time to factor our free variable out from these vectors. Okay? So in this case, okay, I'm going to change the color. x3 times, what should the coefficient be? 1 minus 12? 네? 아, 그러네요. 미안해요. Okay? Then 1, 0, 0, 0, right? Then x5 to, yeah, you guys know that, right? 1, 1, 0, right? Okay, so this is your final solution for ax equals 0, right? And then now you have two vectors, right? So although this guy is in how many dimensions? Okay, we have 6 variables, so it's living in a 6-dimensional space, right? Our solution, vector x, is living in a 6-dimensional space because we have x1 through x6, right? But it doesn't matter. The solution is actually spanned by the two vectors. So one vector is this guy, and the other vector is in this guy. And then we have a freedom to choose any values for these three variables, x3 and x5. Right? So we have these two vectors, and then we have a plane. Right? So again, since we have two free variables, and then we now have a plane as our solution set. Okay? So this is also really, really important part. So you will actually revisit this part when you learn about this null space and a range and column space and things like that. So it's gonna be maybe in a few weeks. Yeah, but yeah, as I remember, by the time when we learn about this null space and things like that, this is just a definition of calling this solution set. So this is that simple. But by the time when we learn about those terms, and then yeah, unfortunately, I see many students couldn't follow the lectures. Okay, but the concept itself is really simple, right? Okay. Okay, so now we learned about the relationship about these free variables and our possible solution set for this homogeneous linear system. Okay, and then now it's time to get back to the original system, which is this guy. Okay. So suppose we are given this equation, but we actually thought of its homogeneous version of the equation by just setting the vector b as all 0, right? These are two different equations, but their solutions are really closely related with each other. Okay, and I'm going to give you the answer about how they are related. So we learned about their solution space or solution set for that homogeneous linear system. So if you have one free variable and then you will get a line, or if you have two free variable and then you will get a plane and 3 variable and then you will have a 3-dimensional space and so on, right? So you can think about that solution set. But what about the actual solution for this original system where you have non-zero b, but you still have the same a? Okay, so that's the kind of the clue to relate between these two. Okay, and so once you know the solution of this guy, okay, then the solution of this guy is nothing but the translated version of the solution set of a homogeneous linear system. So if you have the line from this homogeneous linear system, okay, and then again that's the case when you have one free variable, right? And then the solution for this guy is nothing but just a shifted version, or mathematically we call that as a translation. translation이 뭐죠? 한국말로? 변화? 변화는 transformation. 네? 변형? 변형은 뭐죠? 뭐는 말인데 변형은? 변형. 정형, 뭐 변형 이런 거야? 공역, 지역? 어디요? 자, translation. 뭐죠? translation. 자, 여기서 이 라인을 이렇게 옮겼어요. 이거 뭐라 그래요? 평행이동. 네. 평행이동이 영어로 translation이에요. 네. 왜 translation? 영어로 뜻이 뭐죠? translation? 번역이잖아요. 그죠? 그게, 그러니까, 우리가 랭귀지도 이런 다 선형대수로 다 풀어요. 예. 이 랭귀지가 어떤 이런 선형대수의 이런 하이디멘전 스페이스에 살고 있거든요. 그리고 이제 영어도 안녕하세요라는 어떤 문장이 있을 때 그게 하나의 벡터고요. 그 다음에 헬로가 영어가 살고 있는 스페이스에서의 또 다른 벡터. 그리고 걔네들은 어떤 관계를 갖고 있냐면 평행 관계를 갖고 있어요. 웃을 일이 아니고 진짜인데? 네, 진짜요. Okay, so that way, translation is actually just moving one kind of point or line or some kind of plane in parallel to some other location. Okay? So that's the mathematical definition or the meaning of the word translation. Okay? Okay, and then why should the solution be just a translated version between these two? Okay, let's think about why. Okay, if you think a little bit different, a little bit more, and then you can easily find the answer on your own. So basically, the only difference between this guy and this guy is this vector, of course, 0 or b, right? And then. So I gave you this really a large size of matrix, right? But suppose you initially started with some non-zero vector in the B part, okay? And then this is already your reduced echelon form, but let's imagine it's original version of the A, original version of matrix A, okay? So that actually was converted into this row reduced echelon form, right? And then let's think about these two cases of this augmented matrix A and B and the augmented matrix of A and 0. So this corresponds to homogeneous linear system and this one is corresponding to the original system. And then this guy is converted into this reduced echelon form. And then let's imagine the reduced echelon form of this guy. Okay? In that case, this part of A this part will be the same, right? Because we will exactly follow the exact same step to make this part to be like a staircase shape first, right? After making A part to be the staircase, and then we move on to handling this B part, right? So that way, in this case, we will also handle A first. So that way, the reduced echelon form will be exactly the same, right? The only different part is this guy, B part, right? So we spent a lot of time in getting this solution, right? And then, let's think about the solution for this not homogeneous version of the system. Okay? In that case, this part will be exactly the same with only the difference of the constant vector, something here, okay, which came from this part, right? So we reconstructed these linear system, right? So the only difference is these values, which is now non-zero value in the case of this guy, right? So we have additional constant vector here, but again, in this case, this does not involve any of your free variable or whatsoever. This is just a constant vector, right? This was just originally number, which didn't involve any of our free variable.
다시
자, 결국은 그 reduced echelon form을 만들면 요 B가 어떤 난제로 B가 있었든 0이 있었든 요 A 파트는 정확하게 똑같은 reduced echelon form을 가져요. 그죠? 여기까지 오케이? 자, 그러면 자, 이런 애들은 다 어디서 온 거죠? 이런 애들? 다 이런 애들 어디서 왔냐면 다 이런 프리 베리어블들 다 저쪽으로 넘기면서 생겨진 애들이죠. 그죠? 그렇기 때문에 그 프리 베리어블들은 어디에 있었냐? 이 A 파트에 있었던 애들이에요. 그렇기 때문에 이렇게 팩터라이제이션 혹은 이렇게 뭐 프리 베리어블을 가지고 이런 벡터들로 나타내는 거, 이 부분은 완전히 동일할 수밖에 없어요. 그죠? 그러면 다른 점은 뭐냐? 아까는 모두 다 0이었던 벡터 B가 지금은 어떤 난지로 벡터로 여기에 더하기가 되지는 거예요. 맞아요? 그러면 자, 이거 두 개의 벡터로 스팬되는 거는 x3와 x5를 자유롭게 조절하면 플레인 나온다 했죠? 그죠? 거기다 이런 컨스턴트 벡터 하나 더하는 거예요. 어떤 숫자로 된 벡터. 그럼 그게 뭐예요? 평이동이죠. 그죠? y는 3x에서 y는 3x 플러스 5를 하면은 y절편 5를 이렇게 위로 올린 거잖아요. 그죠? 똑같은 거예요. 플레인이 됐든 뭐 더 이게 3차원 스페이스가 됐든 아니면 그냥 라인이 됐든 요 특정 요 값, 요 놈에 의해서 이렇게 평이동이 돼요. Okay, so again, so the only difference is that, so we have this part to be the same between this version or this version. Okay, the only difference comes from this part, B, right? So that way, if we have non-zero B here, and then that will be added to this part, right? So, this will be spanned in the exact same way by the two vector of this guy, and we have a freedom to choose those two. And then, additionally, we actually translate or remove this plane by the amount of this vector, right? Okay, so that is about this figure. So you will see this figure in your book or in the slide, okay? So in here, so this guy was something like this, 1, 3, 2, okay? So you have free variable x3, and then this was the vector that gives you the direction information, okay? And then this guy is something like this guy, okay? So how much you translate your line. So initially, your solution was this line, but if you find this guy, then you actually move or translate this line by the amount of this non-zero B vector. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so let me have just one more minute. Okay. So how much the translation amount, I mean the vector that gives you the translation, which is just this guy, this part, okay? So this part will be some non-zero vector. But actually that is not unique, actually. Okay? So suppose let's think about the line which is y equals 3x, okay? And then I can give you one point having this slope of 0,3, and then that will be y-intercept, right? But what about I give you 1,4? So I give you the information like okay, your line slope of your line is 3, okay? Slope is 3, and then one point connecting that line, passing this line, is that 1,4, okay, instead of 0,3. And then it will give you exactly the same line. So I'm going to give you any point connect in that line, and then that will be giving you the same line. So it doesn't matter which point I give you on that line, right? So this theorem is telling about that. So instead of giving you a specific vector that we obtained from the reduced echelon form, I'm going to give you another vector, okay, on that plane or line or three-dimensional space or whatever, and then that space will be the same. Okay, so it doesn't matter which point I give you on that line or plane and so on. Okay? Okay, so that's it for today. Then yeah, let's meet this Thursday. And again, please don't forget to submit your homework. 그거 안 되는데? 네. 이게 숙제가 이렇게 달라요. 그게 네. 문제 셋이 다르거든요. 네. 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 네.
그리고 그 어떤 방법을 생각해보면 이게 서로 커뮤니케이션 안 되는 벡터 3개가 벡터 2개가 있을 때는 무조건 커뮤니케이션이가 얘를 통해
맞아요.
그리고 해가 무슨 받은 거는 만약에 그렇게 하면은 얘네들이 뭐
네, 그러니까 얘가 라인이었잖아요. 얘도 라인이에요. 단지 평행이동한 거일 뿐이라는 거예요.
자세한
네.
여기 25분인데
네.
그러니까 W는 스팬이라고 했잖아요.
네.
근데 이렇게 집합시키는 게 무슨 의미예요?
아, 이거는요, 이 세 개의 벡터만을 가진 집합이라는 뜻이에요. 그러니까 힌트는, 이거는 스팬은 아니고요.
네.
스팬은 이 세 개를,
한번 가능한 거예요?
이 세 개의 벡터가 그냥 원소로 있다는 거예요.
아, 그냥 단지.
그냥 단지.
그럼 세 개인 거네요? 그냥.
그렇다고 볼 수 있다.
감사합니다. 숙제 이렇게 하면 되나요?
네, 네, 뭐, 네. 네, 그러시면 돼요. 네. 네. 네.
이게 뭐가 달라요?
네, 이게 계속 질문을 하는데, 지금 요거는, A번은 이게 중괄호 안에 A1, A2, A3. 그러니까 이건 스팬이라는 말이 붙지 않죠. 그러니까 이거는 이 세 개의 벡터만을 포함하는 집합이라는 뜻이에요.
값이요?
아, 요거는 벡터죠. 진하게 표시되어 있으니까 A1과 A2, A3는 벡터고, 이 세 개의 벡터만이 원소로 들어가 있는 집합이라는 뜻이에요.
네. 그리고 이건 스팬이고요.
아, 그렇죠. 네, 맞아요.
네.
네. 이거 할 때요. 이렇게 넘어갈 때 관심이 없을 수도
지금 와? 나왔으니까 해가 끝나잖아요.
네, 그 피부와 포지션 많이 보고 알 수가 있고요. 네. 아, 그렇죠. 네. 마지막 우리 AX는 0이라고 여기가 그렇지. 0으로 바뀌면 그러니까 0으로 바뀌면 그러니까 0으로 바꿨을 때 이제 솔루션을 풀어도 AX B라고 하는 원래 우리가 풀어야 되는 방정식이랑 A는 똑같습니다. 네, A는 똑같은 거예요. 그러니까 B만 0으로 싹 대체를 했을 때 그때는 그러니까 0이라고 했을 때 그 호모지니어스 시스템에서의 솔루션을 구했다면 그거에 대해서 그냥 어떤 평행이동한 버전이 AX equal B의 솔루션이다라는 거예요. 네. 그리고 네, 그게 아까 마지막에 이제 좀 중점적으로 설명을 했던 내용이고요. 그게 그러니까 여기가 이제 이쪽 파트가 이제 0이 아니라 AX equal B가 되면 이 파트만 달라지게 될 거잖아요. 우리가 reduced echelon form을 만들게 되면.
그게 평행이동.
그렇죠. 그럼 우리가 이런 솔루션 셋 생각을 해보면 여기가 원래 다 지금 0이었었잖아요. 이 0은 어디서 왔느냐? 여기 0에서 온 거예요.
네.
그랬는데 이제 여기가 이제 0이 아니라면 여기에 뭔가 뭐 여기에 뭐가 또 붙을 거 아니에요.
상수.
그렇죠. 상수가 붙는 거죠.
네.
그럼 이 상수들이 어떤 하나의
얘인 거죠.
그렇죠. 이 상수 벡터를 표현한다는 거예요. 네. 요거를 좀 구체적으로 좀 설명했으면 좋았었겠네요. 그래서 요 숫자들은 결국 여기서 온 거고 이게 요 벡터랑 똑같은 거고요. 그럼 결국 이 파트는 동일한 거고요. 이 파트는 아까도 얘기했듯이 어떤 평면을 이루겠죠. 이 두 개에 대한 스팬이니까. 그죠? 근데 단지 요거가 항상 더해지기 때문에 그래서 이제 평행이동이라는 이야기를 한 거고요.
근데 X3하고 X5가 그 프리 베어러블인 거는
네.
피벗 보고 한 거예요?
그거 피벗 보고 하는 거죠. 네. 그거는
피벗
여기서
자리가 아니어서?
그렇죠. 여기서 지금 이게 원래 우리가 시작한 이 리듀스 에슐론 폼 혹은 이건 그렇죠. 리듀스 에슐론 폼이고 지금 피벗이 어디 있는 걸 따져보면 각 로우마다 리딩 엔트리니까
네.
얘네들이에요. 그죠? 그러면 컬럼으로 보면 얘는 피벗 있으니까 베이직, 얘는 피벗이 없어요.
네.
그래서 얘는 프리 베리어블, 얘가 또 프리 베리어블.
확실히 단정져서 말할 수 있는
단정져서 얘기할 수 있어요. 네.
감사합니다.
네.
그 평행이동이요.
네.
그 X1, X2, X3가 나타내는 그 선에서의 평행이동을 말하는 거예요.
그렇죠. 네.
그걸 좌표로 다 나타냈을 때.
네, 좌표로 나타냈을
네.
때.
그러면은 그 일단은 해가 무제한으로 있다는 가정 하에서 할 수 있는 거겠네요.
네, 그렇기도 한데요.
네.
근데 이런 게 있으니까 그거 이야기 안 했네요. 만약에 프리 베리어블이 없으면
네.
우리는 솔루션은 그냥 000밖에 안 생겨요. 그죠?
네.
그러면은 우리가 라인도 아니고 평면도 아니고 이번에는 점 하나예요. 그죠?
네.
그러면 이 점 하나가 역시 그러니까 ax equal 0에서의 그 솔루션이 이 점 000 점 하나였다면 ax equal b에서의 솔루션도 역시 마찬가지로 이거에 대한 평행이동이에요. 그러니까 점에 대한 어디론가의 평행이동은 역시 점이겠죠. 네. 그래서 그때는 그러니까 얘네들이 ax equal 0가 유니크한 솔루션이 있잖아요. 000.
네, 네.
그러면 ax equal b도 유니크한 솔루션, 그러니까 infinitely many 솔루션을 가질 수는 없어요. 네. 네. 그렇지만 하나 주의할 거는 그거는 아마 다음 시간에 또 설명을 할 텐데 b가 어디 있느냐에 따라서 그러니까 ax equal 0는 항상 솔루션을 가져요. 그죠?
네.
그런데 ax equal b는 b가 어디 있느냐, 그러니까 a에 해당하는 a가 갖고 있는 컬럼들로 표현할 수 있는 그 스팬, 그 스페이스의 그 집합 내에 쏙 b가 들어가 있느냐 아니면 그 바깥에 있느냐에 따라서 솔루션이 있냐 없냐가 결정이 되죠. 그죠? 그렇기 때문에 어떤 b냐에 따라서 솔루션이 없을 수도 있어요. 근데 만약 있다면 이거의 평행이동이 돼야 돼요. 무조건. 그렇기 때문에 하나만 나올 수밖에 없어요. infinitely many 솔루션은 또 존재할 수가 없어요. 만약에 그 0만, 그러니까 트리비얼 솔루션만 존재한다.
호모지니어스 AX는 0에서도 그 해가 두 개 있거나 그럴 수는 없는 거죠.
그렇죠.
역시.
그래도 하나 아니면
하나 아니면
인피니티.
그러니까 000 이외에 뭐가 있으려면 무조건 선 이상의
선
형태로
이상은 가야 돼요.
형태가 표현되겠네요.
네.
그리고 그 과제에서요.
네, 네.
그냥 저희가
네.
제가 LYX를 아직 깔지를 못해가지고 아마 다음 시간까지 못할 것 같은데 손으로 써오는 거면은
손을 써도 괜찮아요. 네.
네, 그러면 막 서술 형식으로 막 영어로 막 설명을 해야 돼? 아니면 그냥 수식 같은 걸로 이렇게 풀면 돼요?
그냥 뭐 풀면 되고 아까 뭐 지금 보여준 것처럼 이 에슐러 폼을 만들 때 각 단계 있잖아요.
네.
그럼 뭐 예를 들어 이게 꼭 가장 좋은 방법은 아니겠지만 그리고 여러 가지 다른 뭐 똑같은 정보를 나타내는 방법도 있겠지만 어쨌건 요 단계에서 요 단계 했을 땐 내가 뭘 했다. 네. 이런 거를 그냥 간단하게 표시를 해주면 좋겠죠. 그래요. 수고했어요. 네.
네. 이게 H랑 K가 여기 스팸 안에 들어가야 된다는 거잖아요.
기능이 알아.
아니요?
네, 맞아요.
그러면 어떻게 스팸 안에 들어가게 아무거나 다 돼도 되는 거 아니에요?
네. 이게 무슨 문제였죠? 지금? 요거?
네.
잠시 보자. 이게.
찾고 있어.
근데 여기를 0으로 만들었네요? 이거는 지금
왜
우리가
뭐라 하게?
계단 형태로 만든 게 좀 아니죠?
네, 인터체인지 해야 돼요.
인터체인지를 지금 여기서 지금 누구를 바꿔치기 했냐면 첫 번째 로우를 바꿔치기 했어요, 지금. 그죠? 그러니까 여기다 2배를 한 다음에 이거를 여기다가 더해갖고 여기를 바꿨었죠. 이게 아니라, 네, 수고했어요. 네. 여기는 내두고 이 항상 아래 거를 바꿔치기 해야 되는 거거든요.
네, 머스트에 꼭 그래야 돼요?
그래야 계단 형태가 나와요. 그러니까 이거는 지금 계단이 지금 안 만들어졌잖아요. 이런 식의 계단.
그냥 뒤바꾸면 되는 거 아니에요?
그렇죠. 그러면은 이제 2개를 그렇게 뒤바꿀 수는 있겠지만
네.
애초에 그러면 이거를 바꾸지 말고, 그러니까 얘를 0으로 만들지 말고 얘를 0으로 만드는 게 한 방에 그렇게 만들 수 있는 형태겠죠. 네.
네.
그렇게 하는 게 그래서 좋아요. 항상 밑에 거를 바꿔치기 하는
네.
형태로.
그래서 바꿔서 이거는 어떻게 해야 돼요?
네, 이거 바꿨다고 보면
네.
이 경우는 지금 이 경우 그러니까 00 어떤 난지로가 나타날 때 솔루션이 없는 거잖아요.
네.
그러면 이 경우에 그러니까 이걸 바꿨다고 보면요.
네.
그러면 그런 경우가 생길 수 있느냐 보면 여기는 지금 생길 수가 없게 되겠죠.
네.
왜냐하면 피벗이 얘가 위로 갔다면 얘가 피벗이고 또 얘가 피벗이에요. 그러니까 00b라고 하는 값은 난제로 b라고 하는 값은 나타낼 수가 없어요.
네.
그죠? 그렇기 때문에 만약에 이게 맞다면 여기서 변환을 한 이게 맞다면 이거는 지금 어떤 k나 h에 대해서도요. 솔루션이 항상 있어요.
네.
즉 그 말은 h, k가 이 두 개의 벡터의 스팬에 존재한다는 이야기고요.
네. 그냥 이대로 끝나는 거예요.
그렇죠.
쉬워 이랬는데.
네, 그렇죠. 그러니까 피벗이 여기 있고,
네.
네, 그래서 피벗이 이 마지막 컬럼인 이 상수 자리에 해당하는 그 컬럼에 피벗이 나타나지 않았기 때문에, 네, 솔루션이 항상 존재한다라고 이야기할 수 있죠.
하는데요.
네.
벡터라는 게 값이에요? 점?
벡터요?
네.
뭐,
아니면 variable이에요? x처럼?
그거는 값일 수도 있고 베리어블일 수도 있어요. 예를 들면 여기서 나타난 이런 거 있잖아요. x1, x1에서 x6까지 이렇게 나타난 이거는 지금 벡터이지만 우리가 모르는 베리어블들을 포함을 하고 있는 벡터고요.
네.
근데 뭐 예를 들면 이런 벡터, 그러니까 얘만 딱 놓고 보면 얘 빼고요. 얘 빼고 이렇게 얘만 딱 놓고 보면 이거는 그냥 다 우리가 알고 있는 상수로만 이루어진 벡터잖아요.
네.
그러니까 이렇게 상수 벡터 아니면 이런 변수가 포함된 벡터 둘 다 존재할 수 있어요.
이런 거를 그래프에 플롯할 수 있어요?
이거요?
네.
할 수 있죠. 근데 이거는 지금 이게 6차원이잖아요. 이게 R6에 살고 있는 벡터라고요. 6차원에. 그죠? 6차원은 우리는 그릴 수가 없어요. 볼 수도 없고.
네.
그렇죠? 그렇지만 이런 3차원에서의 어떤 그런 관계들을 통해서 얘도 대충 유추가 되겠죠.
두 개면 할 수 있는 거예요?
두 개요?
네.
그러니까 2,-2요?
네.
이거요? 이거는 뭐
이게 xy예요?
네, xy. 네, x에 2, 그다음에 마이너스 2. 요 점, 혹은 요걸 나타내는 벡터죠, 이게.
이게 그러면 실선이에요? 그러니까
이거요?
직선이에요?
아니요, 이거는, 그러니까 벡터는 뭔지 알죠? 그러니까 방향과 크기를 가진,
아니요.
네?
벡터.
벡터, 중고등학교 때 혹시 배우지 않나요?
아, 문과라서.
문과에서 안 배우나?
문과 안 배워요.
벡터를 안 배워요? 그래요? 네, 그러면 스케일러는, 뭐, 스칼라, 아니면 스케일러는 이제
네.
값이 하나짜리 이야기하고요. 벡터는 값이 여러 개가 이렇게 그 순서를 가지고 이렇게 좌표, 그러니까 순서,
네.
좌표, 뭐라 해야 되나. 그러니까 XY, 뭐, 예를 들면 이런 거는 배웠죠. 직선의 방정식. 2x
네.
플러스 3. 네. 그러면 이거는, 자, x, y라는 벡터를 생각을 해보자고요. 그러면 이거 라인 위에 있는 애들은, 예를 들면 1, 5가 있겠죠. 또 0, 3이 있겠죠.
네.
그죠? 뭐, 예를 들면 마이너스 1, 또 1이 있겠죠. 그럼 얘네들은 어떻게 나타내지죠? 1, 5, 그죠? 0, 3 이렇게 나타내지죠. 네.
네.
이런 어떤 점들을 이제 의미를 하고요. 이런 점들을 의미를 하고 이 점들을 또 어떻게 생각할 수가 있냐면 항상 원점으로부터 이게 항상 이 끝점이다. 그래서 이런 반직선이라고 해야 될까? 이런 어떤 화살표를 우리가 생각해 볼 수가 있어요. 그럼 이 점 하나는 항상 원점에서부터 있게 되면 이 화살표 하나랑 대응이 돼요. 그죠? 네. 그래서 이 화살표가 어떤 방향성을 나타내는 형태가 되고요. 그래서 얘네들을 이제 벡터라고 부르거든요.
항상 원점에서 시작해요.
원점에서 시작을 해요. 네.
네.
네. 네.
네, 감사합니다.
그래요. 네.
그렇게 대단한 질문을 우리
네.
믹스에서 행렬할 때요.
네.
그 열마다 칸을
네.
똑같이 하는 거 없어요.
열마다 칸을 똑같이 한다?
네.
칸을 똑같이 한다는 거는 지금 이렇게 돼 있을 때 이 칸이 뭐 예를 들면 이렇게 되면 이거를 좀 레프트 얼라인을 하고 싶다는 이야기야?
아니요. 이게 그러니까
네.
컬럼들이 전부 다 너비가 똑같게.
이 컬럼의 너비가 똑같게요?
네.
그거는 이 내부적인 이게 어떻게 보면 릭스 내에서의 테이블 형태잖아요.
네.
이거가 자체적으로 자기네들이 관리를 해주는 거라서
네.
아마 이거를 우리가 매뉴얼이 따로 조절을 하기는 힘든 걸로 알고 있어요.
그래요.
네. 네, 그래요. 네, 수고했어요.